Hi, everybody. Hello. Hello. Welcome to Pagan Perspective. This is Megan, aka Sabersary. So I just thought I would hop on and do a live. I don't know how many people can join in, but you'll be able to see it in the replay. So just faster with the Hawaii time zone and everything like that. Hi, there's people. Hello. Welcome to the Pagan Perspective. I am Megan, aka Sabersary. Today is Friday, and today we're talking all about pagan art, like artistic expression, different kinds of things like that. So hello, if you just joining, let me know if you're there and where you're from. And hi, Caitlin, first time here? Awesome. Oh, I'm so glad. Welcome. It's exciting. So probably more people end up seeing this on the replay too. So just kind of talking about the topic for them as well. But feel free to ask me lots of questions along the way. So Caitlin says, new to pagan, love to crochet. Awesome. Yay. That's a wonderful form of artistic expression. I used to crochet as well. I got carpal tunnel really, really bad. And so I had to give it up. I had surgery on my hand. I love crocheting though. So nice. It was so relaxing. For me, when I think about pagan art, artistic expression, when I look at what the question asker talked about, for me, the biggest way that I express art is through music. I do love to paint and I love to draw. So I do have an Etsy shop that I make stickers that I draw in. But for me, the way that I express my religion into an art form would be music. I love to sing. I write music. I write songs and lyrics. I'm not lucky enough to play an instrument. So that would definitely be the way that I kind of connect artistically to my path. Would definitely be through music, 100%. And the question asker talked a little bit about, name some of your favorite artists. And I'd have to say, even though this one, she's related to me, she's my cousin, but she's an amazing, amazing musician and pagan, kind of like, she's pretty famous, I guess. Her name is Kellyanna. I don't know if you guys have heard of her, but she's my cousin and she's fabulous. And I love her music. And yeah, she's just wonderful. She just evokes such a fabulous feeling whenever I listen to her music. So for me, for my path, music is definitely the way to go. Oh, wow, there's some people watching. Say hi. You can ask me questions and also let me know where you're from or just to say hi. Have you ever been here before? Have you seen me before? Let me know you're there and out in the world. So as far as other artists go, I would say I'm a big fan of Dar Williams. Oh, other musicians, I should say, musicians. I'll talk about other artists in a second. But Dar Williams is one of my favorites. Wendy Rule, that's a big favorite. Lorena McKennitt, even though she's not always just pagan, like Kellyanna is pagan, whereas Lorena McKennitt has some different stuff, but she definitely has some pagan leanings. And oh my gosh, music is absolutely beautiful. I'm also a big fan of Blackmore's Night. Any Blackmore's Night fans out there? Absolutely adore that music. So that's definitely music I like to celebrate. It's sort of my style too. I love that sort of fusion of a little bit of, oh, Fawn, Caitlin, yes, Fawn is awesome. I love Fawn. Yes. Hi, Heather. Oh, my wife just popped on too and is a big fan of Blackmore's Night, actually. So she's really excited about that. Yes, definitely a big fan of Blackmore's Night. Awesome. Yeah, so Fawn, huge, big one. Who else was there that I'm big fan of musically? I'm trying to think right now. My brain is like fogging. I know there's like so many out there. Heather Jinmaku. If you've never heard of Heather Jinmaku, she's, and I'm probably pronouncing her last name wrong. Haven't really heard it pronounced, just read it. She is amazing. One of my favorite songs she does is Back to Beltane. Love, 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 love that song. So it's really, and The Goddess is In. It's a great song. So yeah. And The Wicked Witch Ain't Dead. It's a very like bluesy, like, you know, kind of makes you want to pop kind of thing. It's fun. So if you haven't heard her, I definitely recommend looking up some of her music. She definitely has like a rock and roll vibe. So, and Alchemy 7, I think. Alchemy 7 has some really good ones too. Big fan. So that's sort of musically. When I think about other artistic ventures, I would have to say that, you know, I don't tend to look for just pagan art in that way, other than kind of inspirational things that I see on the internet. So I'm sure a lot of you are like that too, where we might not necessarily go seeking an artist, a particular artist, but when we see beautiful art, in particular, a lot of the digital art, I know for me, the seasonal art, where they'll incorporate sort of a seasonal element. And the one I'm thinking of in particular, there's a beautiful shot of a woman, and she's sort of being born. I think she's representing at this point the goddess energy, and she is coming out of the roots of a tree, and then the tree is all around her. It's just beautiful, kind of digitally mastered art, right? With different components. It's really, really fabulous. So I love that. I love being able to see that. I do like to paint though, and draw. So I definitely probably don't do it as much for my faith as I do for my business. And I think that's just sort of the reality, is that we end up getting locked into work. I'm sure a lot of you know that feeling where, you know, so much of our creative energy gets put into our jobs, and we don't always have a lot left over for other things later on. You know, where by the time you get home from work, you're tired, and, you know, it's all you can do to just kind of turn on the TV and, you know, chill for a little while. I mean, I'm sure I'm not alone in this. And so I will say probably the most art I consume in that way would be kind of music and TV. I love, 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 love TV. So for me, TV and movies, I started, before I went into psychology to be a therapist, I started in a program for acting for TV and film, Bachelor of Fine Arts. And so I love, love good cinema. It's just, it gets me excited. I was not happy with the new Charmed. I'm sorry if there's anybody out there who really liked it. I was not happy with it. I think they could have served themselves a lot better by naming it something different and taking out the very few tiny pieces of kind of canon, original Charmed canon that they used, and taking those out and putting in something completely different. I think they would have done, they would have served themselves better, because they used it so sporadically that it made no sense. They call their guardian, right? Their watcher type. They call him a white lighter. In fact, he says, "I'm a white lighter." However, when he moves from one place to another, he doesn't move like a white lighter moves. He doesn't have any white light. The only time he had any white light was when he was healing. So it didn't really make a lot of sense in that way. Now, the movement was really interesting that he did. And it would make sense if he's posing as a white lighter and he's actually like a warlock. And so they're doing that as sort of a blinking. Instead of blinking, he's doing this sort of like, you know, loop-de-loop thing. Okay, maybe I could maybe understand that. But I just didn't understand. I didn't like that in the book when they open the book up, Melinda Warren is right inside as one of their ancestors. And here's the thing. The Charmed girls could have Melinda Warren as an ancestor and these other people, because obviously, you know, kids have more kids and, you know, you can go off into different tree branches. So that's, you know, I'm not saying that it's impossible. I'm just saying that I feel like they would have been better served just giving it a different name, right? And saying something like, if you loved Charmed, you know, get excited for this. It's along the same veins, right? Like it has some similarities. I think people would have given it a better shot. I also think it really suffered. I think it suffered a little bit in the acting. Now, new series tend to suffer a little bit in the beginning, the acting. And I know that the girls also, like the actresses also had a lot of pressure. So I'm sure that that's part of it. But so the dialogue didn't help them very much. It was very fast paced. They didn't move into anything and they didn't establish relationships. So one of the things that the original Charm did so fantastically was relationships. They built the sisters' relationship from the beginning so that we cared about them. We cared about them as people, so that when these things started happening to them, we cared that it was happening to them and we wanted to go on this journey with them. They didn't. They rushed it. They rushed it in this pilot, and they just, now hopefully maybe the next one, they'll start to build, you know, the backstories of the girls a little bit more. But they weren't building that relationship that we need to have with characters in order to want to go on the journey with them. I felt very disconnected from them. And this is speaking purely, even though I love Charmed and I am an OG Charmed girl, you know, speaking purely as somebody who's just critically reviewing, you know, acting and media and TV film, those are the things that I noticed that were off. And I would say I'd be critical of any new series that I watched in the same way. So I'll probably watch the next episode to see how it progresses. I don't know. I'm going to watch, unlike other shows where I'll say, all right, I'm going to give it a whole season. This show, I'm going to watch episode to episode to see whether or not I want to continue on, just because I have a lot of other shows too I'm watching at the time. But I really think they would have done better not attaching it to Charmed canon and making it its own thing. That's the only thing. Sorry, I didn't realize there were some comments. My friend and I aren't watching. Yeah, Caitlin. Yeah, I hear you. And Heather, I'm giving new Charmed a chance since my girls like it. Yeah, you know, and I think that's going to be something too, is that for the younger generation who didn't have Charmed and didn't see it when it was on, or kind of in reruns, they might really like this because it might become their Charmed. I just wish that it didn't have to take from the original. And that's my only drawback. I wish, why couldn't they have called it something, you know, something else, just anything else? I mean, Secret Circle had its own thing. It was its own thing. Now, yeah, it bombed. I actually didn't mind it. But I feel like they're trying to latch it onto the name in the hopes of getting a wider viewership. And yet they're not doing justice and honor to that wider viewership. So when the X-Files was rebooted, they had Mulder, they had Scully, right? They had everybody, right? They had everybody. And so it was a true reboot and it brought it back for everybody. And so the viewership was just there. They were there for every single second of it because they're showing up, their characters are there, they're there. I don't know why they didn't include the original characters in this, or at least one of them, or why they didn't. They were set up so beautifully with the children, with the girls' children, that they could have easily have done something. I don't know why they didn't. I always have disliked the fact that they're constantly going younger and flashier and this and that. I mean, they could have done so many things with the children, and so many other things if they really wanted to tap into the Charmed base versus just saying, hey, we're going to name it Charmed and we're going to include 1 or 2 key words from the original canon and we're going to try and convince you that this is Charmed. Well, it's not. It's not the original canon. It's not Charmed. It's its own thing, and that it could be something good. I'm not sure yet. It's only been 1 episode. It's just, I feel like they mismarketed it, and I wish they would have marketed it differently. So that's my little rant on that one. But yeah, as far as art goes, so I don't have a problem with kind of representing in TV and film paganism. I appreciate, though, when it's done with respect and honor. I don't mind the special effects. I don't mind the Hollywood stuff. I don't like it when it is portrayed as like Satan worship or demonic or something like that. Like, I don't like that. What I liked about the original Charmed, even though they made so many mistakes, I like that they at least tried to incorporate some elements of some pagan traditions. And primarily, they tried to incorporate Wicca into it. I think a movie that does better at incorporating the craft kind of more realistically than Charmed, while being still Hollywood, is Practical Magic. Practical Magic definitely does a better job. So, oh, you have to, okay, watch the rest later. Bye, Heather. So I think Practical Magic does a little bit of a better job at showing kind of more of a realistic view of kind of the everyday pagan, right? I think actually, you know, one show that, while it doesn't focus heavily on the craft, it actually kind of skirts around the issue, but definitely shows a little bit more close to kind of the everyday, would be this series, The Good Witch, and movies too. Actually, I think there's a lot of them. But I'm trying to think, there's a name, and now I'm going to want to go look it up. There is a movie out on Amazon, and I'm wondering if it's I'm just looking in my phone right now. So excuse me. There is a movie that really shows, like, there is a little bit of Hollywood toward the end of the movie, tiny bit of Hollywood, but almost the entire movie is really like pure paganism, and it is awesome. And there's a couple of big name actors in it too, and I'm trying to, for the life of me, I'm trying to figure out what the name is. Oh my gosh. Oh, I chatted to Lisa. Do you remember I've been trying to get you to watch it. Oh, and now it's gonna bug me. Do you guys ever do that? Do you ever know something and be like, yes, like, like the name just literally escapes you? Oh, I hate when I do that. Let's see. I'll look it up. I'm hoping that, oh, it's called The Last Keepers. And it's got Aidan Quinn. I just looked up. Olympia Dukakis, Virginia Madsen, and then Zosia Mamet. I think that's the young girl. But Olympia Dukakis, Aidan Quinn, bigger names, right? The Last Keepers, so good. I really was impressed. And if you have Prime, you can watch it on Prime for free. Amazon Prime. It was awesome. It was so good. Like I was very, very blown away with how good it is. The tiny amount of like special effects, Hollywood type at the end. And that's it. Like everything else. I mean, they do a full like ritual, a full celebration, holiday ritual on film. It was awesome. It was so cool to see. It was cool to see them eating a meal together, like the family eating a meal together, and how they do that representing their faith. It was so awesome. It showed it as a religion, and the path as a religion. And of course it had to have a little bit of Hollywood near the end, but it was really, really neat. So I can't recommend that movie enough. The Last Keepers. It was excellent. Excellent. It feels a little slow to start, but I think that's just focus on what it's showing you as far as showing religion, you know, the path on paganism on the screen. So, which is just super, super cool. So I really loved it. You added it to the watch list. So I just found it. Thank you. So I think that's pretty much about it for, yeah. So I talked about Kellyanna, my cousin, and talked about Black Mars Night and Lorena McKennett. We talked about Fawn. Diva Primal. She's wonderful. Heather Jinmaku. We talked about Dar Williams. If you have not heard Dar Williams' song, The Christians and the Pagans, go listen to it. It's awesome. It's fabulous. So I love that. I write poetry. I write songs. I sing. Those are the ways that I sort of represent my path. And I love doing crafts. I'm a big crafter. I love kind of putting together things. And I'm one of those where it's like, we need something for this. Okay, let's see what I can whip together. I'm going to pull something from here, pull something there. And I keep like bags of little things all over the house. I'm sure Lisa can attest to it. It's like she asked for something. It's like, oh, I happen to have that. Maybe it's in my purse right now. So yay, Caleb. Yes. Isn't that an awesome song? I love that song. So yeah, I think sometimes we just need to make more time, you know, and that's always a hard thing, to make more time. Lisa says it's true. Yes, it's true. I have stuff everywhere and I'll just pull it out and they're like, I got that. I got something for that. I can make this work. I'll jerry rig something. So I think that the more that we can make time for our artistic expression in our path, the better. I think that we get bogged down with work, we get bogged down with life, and, you know, and that's okay. That happens. I really try and make an effort for holidays. That's when I try and do something special. And I would say during holidays, one of the ways that I artistically express would be through cooking. I love to cook, and it is probably my favorite thing to do for my loved ones, is to make them food that they love. I just adore it. And I love seeing their face when they're eating something good. I love seeing when they clean their plate and go back for seconds. I just love knowing that my intention and my care for them is being put into the food. And so that's the way that I sort of artistically express. And I always, actually my wife, you know, calls it gilding the lily, that I can't use anything out of a box or jar just the way it is. I have to add something to it and make it my own and do something extra with it. I'm all about the extra. So that would definitely be the way that I kind of more on a daily basis kind of artistically express myself, is through kind of my creations, my food creations. So I definitely get excited for things like Samhain, because I get to go all out and do some fun things. So actually I'm planning on doing it tonight. I'm hoping, which she might hold me to now that I'm saying it on the live. So that I was going to make these little roll-ups. She found a cool recipe, but you take, I guess, crescent rolls and you put all the seasonings for like apple pie, and you put it on the crescent roll, and then you roll up a slice of apple in it, and then you bake it that way. Isn't that cool? Isn't that a great idea? So I'm going to try it. We'll see how it goes. Of course, I'm going to have to gild the lily somehow, right? So my guess is I'm probably going to have to add some brown sugar and some extra seasoning. We'll see. Lots of extra stuff. So, but yeah, if there's no other questions for me, I'll probably head on out for today. Sorry there wasn't a video last week. Was it last week or the week before? I'm not sure. But my apologies. I was having technical difficulties. But I'm here. So please, nom. Yes. Yes. Good food. Always good food. All right, guys. So I will sign off. Thank you so much for joining me today and hanging out. And if you're watching the live replay or watching this live on the replay, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you all. And as always, blessed be and aloha.